Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bible study. We're continuing our walk through the Beatitudes. We're about halfway there. A real quick recap of where we've been. So the Beatitudes are a series of blessings pronounced by Jesus at the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount, the most famous sermon in history. So the Beatitudes give a condition along with a reward. And the first four were all inward-facing Beatitudes, and they were blessed are the poor in spirit. Those are the ones who realize that they cannot save themselves. They are at the end of themselves and need God. Then there is blessed are those who mourn. And those who mourn are those who realize that they have sinned against the Holy Creator and they are in mourning for their sin. Then there is blessed are the meek. Now the meek is not weak or timid. The weak is kind of restrained power. So those who are humble to the Lord. And then the fourth one last week we touched on was blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. So those individuals are seeking after the ways of God. They're seeking His truth and His ways in their life. So now those first four were all inward facing, inward reflecting, but now with this fifth one, Jesus takes a little turn and we're going to look towards outward ways. So blessed are the merciful, for they shall be shown mercy. Now to be merciful in the Greek means that you go to help someone who is in misery or in need. So it's not just a passive feeling of pity, it's compassion in action. Jesus was Jewish, so he spoke from a Jewish background, and the Hebrew concept is hesed, which just means loyal, covenant-keeping love. And it's a choice to love and forgive even when the other party breaks the rules. So there's three concepts that we can touch on real quick, and those concepts are justice, mercy, and grace. And the word justice, the meaning of justice is that we get what we deserve, or whoever should get what they deserve, right? We seek justice in this world. Our court systems seek out justice, right? So justice is getting what you deserve. Mercy is not getting what you deserve. So you've committed the crime, the punishment should be something, but you don't get that punishment. And then grace is getting a positive reward that you don't deserve. So you're getting something that you don't deserve. And nothing is more profound than God's grace, because we could never earn it, never do anything to deserve it. He freely gives it to us, and it's something that we don't deserve. We also get His mercy. Again, it's not getting what we truly deserve. For the wages of sin is death, and He frees us from that death through the death of Jesus Christ. So biblical mercy is not to be confused with something that's compromising. It doesn't show weakness. It doesn't mean that you're a doormat. It's a powerful choice to withhold retaliation, and it's fueled by your spiritual strength and connection to God. So there's two sides of mercy. So there is forbearance, and then there's compassion. So forbearance would be you showing mercy to someone by not giving them the punishment that they deserve. You let go of grudges, you forgive the guilty, and you refuse to seek revenge. So no retaliation. Then there's compassion. Compassion would be you see someone in need and you meet their physical, emotional, or spiritual needs as they're suffering. So now the Beatitudes give us a condition and then a promise. So the flip side of that is that when we give out mercy, we will receive it. So you cannot reap what you do not sow. That's just a kingdom principle that Jesus sets up. And so an unforgiving heart is going to block out God's mercy. He tells us that if we want His forgiveness, then we are to forgive others. So there's a parable that Jesus uses to explain this process, and it's the parable of the unforgiving servant. Now I'm going to paraphrase very briefly the story, but you can read it in Matthew 18 verses 21 through 35. And basically Jesus tells the story of a servant who is in an immense amount of debt. I've heard some pastors mention that this is like Elon Musk level of debt. Elon's net worth level of debt. So he's about to be thrown into prison. His family, wife and children sold just to try to pay some part of the debt, right? And he falls on his knees in front of the king, begs him to forgive him, and just pleading for mercy. And the king gives him mercy. He forgives his entire debt, doesn't have to pay a dime. Then the next sentence flips to that servant leaving, and he comes across another fellow servant who owes him let's call it $5, a very small sum of money. And he grabs him by the throat, chokes him, and demands that he pay him every dime that he gives him, or every dime that he owes him. And his fellow servants saw this happen, so they went back, tattled on him to the king, and the king threw him in prison and again demanded that he give him everything that he owed him. So the king had chosen to show the servant mercy until the servant wouldn't show his fellow servants mercy. And that's just what Jesus says will happen to us. If we refuse to grant others the mercy that God has shown us, then we will no longer receive that mercy. So one question I want to leave you with today is maybe you've got a barrier to being merciful. So what's the biggest obstacle keeping you from showing mercy to someone who's wronged you? Is it your pride, a desire for justice, or maybe a fear of being hurt again in the future? We're all human, and we all struggle with these items. So self-reflect on that. Dig into your word. Till then, God bless. Take care.